Okay, we're going to go over multi-step factoring. Let's go ahead and look at these two problems. X squared plus 7x plus 8 and 4x squared minus 16. Remember, let's go ahead and decipher which one is sum and product and which one's is difference of squares. Remember, sum and product has 3 terms and difference of squares has 2 terms. Sum and product, 3. Difference of squares, 2. This first one, I have 1, 2, 3 terms. So this is a sum and product problem. The second one, I have 1, 2 terms. So this is a difference of squares problem. Okay, it is important, I know that we've already learned about this, but to go ahead and apply that to multi-step factoring. Remember, your steps for multi-step factoring are to find the GCF and then to do sum and product or difference of squares. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first one. I go ahead and I see that 5 and 20, there are 2 terms. Knowing that, that is difference of squares. If I were to go ahead and look at my note card that we made the other day in class, I know that 5 is not a perfect square. So I need to go ahead and figure out what is the GCF, or the greatest common factor, of 5 and 20. So I go ahead and I list out all the factors of 5. So I have 1 and 5, nothing else. I list out the factors of 20. 1 times 20, 2 times 10, and 4 times 5. I want the greatest common factor, the greatest number that they both have in common, which is going to be 5. So that is what I am factoring out. I still am left with a 1, my x squared, my minus, and then since I factored out the 5 times 4 is 20. So now that I have my new set of polynomials, I need to do my second step. We already know it's difference of squares, so inside my parentheses, I just work with difference of squares. So I have my 2 sets of parentheses, or my factoring frames. The perfect square of 1 is 1. Perfect square of x2 is x1, x1. Perfect square of perfect square of 4 is 2 times 2. I make one a positive, one a negative, and that 5 just drops down. This is my final answer. Let's look at another example. Alright, I know that there are only 2 terms here. 2 terms is going to be difference of squares. Alright, this being said now, I know that 8 and 50 are not perfect squares. So I need to do GCF first. So I list the factors of 8. So that's 1 times 8 and 2 times 4. I now list the factors of 50. 1 times 50, 2 times 25, and 5 times 10. I look for the biggest number that they both have in common, which is going to be 2. So that is being factored out. I make my parentheses of what is left. Since the 2 already go out, I know that 2 times 4 is 8. I drop down my x squared. I drop down my minus sign. I already took out my 2. What's with my 2 is the 25. And I drop down my y squared. Now, inside my parentheses, again, this is difference of squares. So I make my factoring frames, or my parentheses. I drop down the 2. He's just not going to do anything. He's just going to stay out there. My perfect square of 4 is 2 and 2. Perfect square of x squared is x and x. Perfect square of 25 is 5 and 5. And perfect square of y squared is y and y. I go ahead and make one a positive and one a negative. There is nothing else I can do, so this is my final answer. Now let's look at this one. I have 1, 2, 3 terms. If I have 3 terms, I know that I'm eventually going to need to do sum and product. This being said though, I notice Alright, here we go. I notice that this first term is not a 1. So I need to go ahead and find out the factors of 2, 14, and 18. So my factors of 2 are 1 times 2. Factors of 14 are 1 times 14 and 2 times 7. My factors of 18 are 1 times 18, 2 times 9, and 3 times 6. I find the biggest number that they all have in common, which is 2. I go ahead and I factor that out, and I write what I have left. I have x squared, drop down my plus. I already took out my 2. What's with my 2 to make a 14 is a 7x. Drop down my plus. I already took out my 2. In order to make 18, I have to put a 9 there. Now I know that what's inside my parentheses is a sum and product. So what I need to do, let's go ahead and actually skip over this one, because this one does not work out nice. Okay, let's go ahead to this one. So I know that this is sum and product. I need to list my factors. 1 and 3, 1 and 21, 3 and 7, 1 and 30, and 3 and 10, 2 and 15. The biggest number that they all have in common is 3. So I factor out my 3, and what I have left is x, that's a squared, my bad, x squared, minus, I already factored out a 3, with it is the 7x, plus I already factored out a 3, so with it is a 10. Now I need to go ahead and figure out the factors of 10, because this is a sum and product problem. Factors of 10 are 1 times 10 and 2 and 5. I need to ask myself what will give me a 7. I know that 2 and 5 will give me a 7. So I make my 2 sets of parentheses. My 3 is still outside. In order to get x squared, that's x times x. I'm doing a 2 and a 5. I need to multiply to be a positive, so that's a positive times a positive or a negative times a negative. But I need to get a negative 7. So I know that a negative and a negative is a positive 10, and negative 2 minus 5 will give me a negative 7. So this is my final answer. Again, I apologize that the previous problem did not work out correctly. Go ahead and now try your practice.